When our girls were young, they used to watch a show on Disney called Mike's Super Short Show. And it was a really, really short show. And so you know what? Today on the Celebrate Your Day podcast, this is going to be Mike and Missy's Super Short Show. Hey, what's up? It is the Celebrate Your Day podcast. And I have a question for you. Are you busy?
Absolutely, all the time.
Are you busy? Anybody ever asked you that question? It's almost like, hey, you're not doing anything right. Listen, here's the reality. We're all busy.
Yep.
I got to be honest with you. We didn't even really know if we were going to do this episode because things have been pretty busy.
It's been a very busy month. First off, I had a really busy month at work.
Yep, work was stressful.
Getting ready for some meetings and things like that.
Yep. I am having a little side business, doing some drone photography. I've been getting some extra work, some different stuff going on during the evenings and weekends. That's been super busy. We spent a week in Nashville visiting our kids. Missy got sick.
That's right. I had food poisoning on Easter.
Food poisoning.
First Easter my whole life, I wasn't in church.
Missed church,
2 weeks after I had the stomach bug. So that was fun.
So life's busy. And you know what's crazy is this is literally, we're just going to be real vulnerable. This is like 2 days before the 8th.
Yeah.
We were like, do we really want to do this? But you know what we thought? It's real.
That's
and
right.
Life's busy. Life's crazy. Life's hectic. And you know what? We still made time for each other.
That's right.
We still celebrated things. And so we thought we would bring you maybe a little bit shorter podcast than usual because...
Just a little fun. But you know what? It's transparent and it's honest. And that's one thing that we've always said. We're not perfect. Things aren't exactly the way we always want them to be. But you know what? You're probably listening or watching this while you're doing other things. Maybe you're multitasking while you're doing this too.
So if you enjoy this content really quick, you know what? If you're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. We really, really appreciate you tuning in and listening. Hopefully it's helpful.
That's right.
That's our goal, is just to be helpful, create a community of people celebrating your day. We're still seeing a lot of cool things from the challenge.
That's right. And honestly, share it with your friends on your social media. Hopefully some of this stuff will resonate and you'll be like, oh my gosh, we're exactly where you guys were.
Yeah. And so busyness, I mean, it's just real. I mean, if you have kids, you're at sports practices, you're at, whatever extracurricular activity things you do, you have full-time jobs, you got to have meals and, whatever it is.
Grocery shopping.
I mean, there's, work, and there's so many things in life today that just get us busy and take up our time. And the challenge in that is those things vie for our time. Yeah. And what can happen is we don't make time to celebrate.
That's right. And honestly, I feel like it's sad, but sometimes in the busyness, the thing that kind of gets put on the back burner is our relationship with our date, because we think, oh, they're going to understand. But if that keeps happening, then that creates like kind of an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah. Or we say like, oh, I really wish I had the time to spend with you, but I just don't. Yeah. And we have to think about it. I mean, a lot of life, and especially marriage, is priorities.
That's right.
And again, you can't quit your job. You can't tell the kids, you know what, we're not going to take care of you for a few days. We have to make time for each other. Like those kinds of things you can't just put on hold. You can't stop doing.
No, you still have to do that.
But in the midst of them, if you're not really intentional on celebrating, and again, we're going to share with you a little bit in this last month, because again, we're being real. I literally was like, I don't know if we can do this month. Yeah. We committed to doing it. We're going to do it. And we thought, you know what? Here's why we weren't going to do it. But even in the midst of all of it, we still made time and we still did some things that we can look back on and really celebrate. And so what, in the last month, what were a few of those?
Well, we have a grandson that we just bought.
Doodle.
He's the busiest bee. We call him the busiest bee because he's always busy.
It's funny when you have, and again, if you have grandkids, cool. If not, they're coming. It's the like reward for raising your children. You create like crazy, stupid, made up names for them, and you just think it's the cutest thing ever, even though you sound ridiculous. But.
And we actually bought him a swing set.
We did.
And there was a little bit left that we had to do before we went to Nashville, and we did it together. Now, was that what I necessarily wanted to do?
Let's be honest. I did it.
You did.
While she handed me the bolts and the screws.
I helped you at the end, and I kind of messed up a little bit.
But she was outside with me while I was doing it, and we're reading the instructions together. Yep. And again, okay, that's so silly, but you know what? For just a few minutes, maybe 30 minutes or an hour, we were together.
It was time together,
and we were doing something that we needed.
Remember,
to do
we
together.
made your soup together.
Yeah, it made soup. And that sounds so silly, but like I have this soup that I like to eat, and I usually Sunday night try to make it for the week so I can plan. Mm-hmm. We took one night and we just said, hey, let's cook together. Let's make this soup. It was on a Sunday night. And we did that together. Now, again, you can take stuff like that for granted or just not do it, but we just this month chose to look at it and say we did it together.
One thing that we really like to do is watch a show. And, at nighttime this month, we've been very tired, but we did watch a whole show. It took us 2 nights to watch a 45-minute show.
Watch an entire
because
show.
Our eyes were closing, but we did it. It's just spending the time together.
Yeah, and what that looked like for us is it's like 9:30, 9:45. You know what? We're like, hey, let's go to bed a little bit early. I mean, normally we're in bed by 10.
We're old.
I mean, we're old. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But we decided let's get in bed at 9:30, 9:45, and let's watch a show. And, we honestly, about 15 minutes into it, we were like, okay, we're tired. We got to go to bed. Mm-hmm. So we stopped it. And the next night, we just did that again, and we finished it, And again, a lot of marriage, a lot of times in marriage, we're looking for the big things and then we got to go spend a week together away. And those things are great, but just the little day-to-day stuff when you're like, oh my gosh, I've had a crazy week. I can't wait to, we watched this crazy storm.
Yeah, we did. Coming in over the ocean. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And we were running from the rain, but it was cool. And it was, what? I totally agree with you. I think sometimes we think, if we don't go to dinner, it's not spending time together. Yeah. Or if we don't do this, it's not spending time together. But sometimes we have to be on the lookout of little ways that you can just spend intentional time together. Yep. And it might not necessarily be what I want to do, or it might not necessarily be what you want to do, but we're doing it together.
And that's an important point.
Yeah.
Because we can sometimes get really stuck in, I hate doing this. But if it's what your spouse likes, and if it's what brings them joy, then why not do that together? You know what I mean? Why not? Missy probably doesn't necessarily care for the soup, but she knew that, hey, I needed to plan for the week, so she helped me with it. There are just sometimes things that we're like, well, I'm going to be miserable if I do that. Change your mentality and say, hey, if this is what you love doing, what's crazy is then next time do something that the other. Or, what really breeds intimacy in a marriage is when you do shared things that you like together.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's something that you and your date like to do together. Watch a show, go to the beach, watch a game, watch a movie, whatever that is.
Take a walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah, find out what that is and then go, hey, you want to spend 10 minutes doing that? That's okay.
Yeah.
You know
and
what
I feel like it's so important because we've talked about this before, but we've been married almost 30 years. And we've been doing ministry in life with people for a long time. And we've seen, unfortunately, couples that kind of put each other on the back burner and kind of put their kids first or their careers first. And they're not together anymore or they've struggled. And not to say that we're perfect or we've always done this perfectly, but if you don't take the time and spend that time intentionally and communicate in the times when you're busy, it's not healthy for your relationship.
Right. It's not. And what happens is you take longer and longer and longer and longer, and pretty soon you're disconnected. Yeah. You don't even want to spend time together. Yeah. And then that breeds bigger problems. It breeds other things. So we're here to tell you that we know you're busy. We understand you're busy. You're crazy busy. Maybe sometimes too busy.
Well, and the thing is it doesn't matter what season of your relationship you're in, whether it's just married, early kids, older kids, no kids, you're always going to be busy. There's always going to be things that are going to think, I have to do this. I have to make time for this. So that's why you have to be intentional with it all the time.
So our challenge today in this Mike and Missy's Super Short Show is in the busyness, celebrate. In the craziness, figure out a way to make time to just connect. Again, marriage is not this, 23 hours out of 24, being together and romance. And that's just not real. Mm-hmm. That's not real life. And when you get to think that, well, we don't spend every day all day together. Did you spend 15 minutes together? Did you connect? Yeah. Did you do something that you loved? Are you planning on doing something that, if you could say, I can't wait for Saturday when we get to, we have breakfast every Saturday morning. We did it today. It's Saturday. And it's Saturday the 6th. This is the 8th. So but we did 2 days before the 8th, we're recording this thing, setting it all up and all of that, and so it's busy. Things are busy, but commit to what you committed to. That's right. And you committed to one another. Yeah. So keep that commitment.
And we take time for everything else. We will take time for everything. We will put things on our calendar. We have multiple calendars, work calendar, home calendar. We want to make sure that we have time for everybody else. Yep. So make sure that you're respecting your date and doing the same thing. So again, we're a little over 10 minutes right now. The question we have is, what are you going to do
to celebrate one another, even in the middle of the busyness. Don't blame the busyness. Don't go, well, if we weren't so busy, we could. That's an excuse. Yeah. You're always going to have excuses. Just go, what can we do?
You know, one thing I feel like that's super simple is ask how each other's day went.
That's it.
And then take time to listen. Yeah. I came home from work one day and you were sitting on the couch and he was like, how was your day? And I just kind of like
unloaded.
Took like 30 seconds and just blew up. But he was looking at me and listening, and it helps, you know. And
can
really
I be honest? It's better when she unloads and is upset about something else other than upset at me. That's okay with me.
True. I wasn't mad at you that day.
You weren't mad at me.
Yeah.
But that's the reality. Is, I mean, even we didn't even mention. I mean, Missy's had some doctor's appointments and dental appointments and like some other things going on, and it's like literally just, hey, how was your day? Yeah. How was your day at work? You know, what happened today? Is everything okay? You know, those little tiny questions. And then when you ask, listen to what's being said. Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. Tell me more. Like that kind of stuff really lets you know that, hey, we're together right now. Yeah, I wish things were a little bit calmer. Things were a little bit different. Mm-hmm. They're not. Yeah. So what do we do to still connect? What do we do to still maintain? And
one other thing too that's super important, and we're married, so we can say this, but make sure to take time to connect intimately, because that's so important too. And you know what, it doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, you know, we're gonna wine and dine and romance, but you have to take time to connect with your date intimately, because if you don't, then that's really going to drive a wedge in your relationship. Sit on the couch and make out for 10 minutes if you have to, and that might lead to other things. There you go. Yes, it will. There you go. But we're married. We can talk about that. That's right. Yeah, it's true. It is true. And again, it doesn't have to be this long romantic. I mean, if you can do that, awesome. Great. Awesome. It doesn't have to be that. It can be whatever you want it to be. And the biggest thing is you're just being intentional about doing it. Yeah. So, you know what? CelebrateYourDay.com. If you haven't taken the challenge yet, take it. There is a surprise for you if you take the challenge on the day of your anniversary. That we won't talk about. Some of you guys have reached out to us about that, but there is a little surprise that we set up for that. So, anyway, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Again, Mike and Missy's Super Short Show. And this is real life. It is. We're coming to you with real life today. Like, we were on our back porch even just before this, and we're like, are we going to do this? I fell asleep on the back porch. Are we going to do this? But you know what? We're here. We did it. But you know what? In the busyness, I still have to edit. In the busyness, we took time. We did. And see, we're taking time with each other, and we're doing a podcast. So see, there you go. It's win-win. It's true. This is the Celebrate Your Date podcast. We believe in celebrating one another. Again, Celebrate Your Date is celebrate the date of your anniversary. Yep. Ours is the 8th. So every 8th, a podcast drops. We're out spending the day together, but we're intentional about doing that. And then your date is each other. That's right. And you don't have to wait for a day to celebrate your date. Just do it whenever you can. Even in the craziness of your busyness, listen, stop on the way home and grab your wife a Starbucks. Get something that they like. Grape. My wife likes. I love grape sometimes Sprite. A grape Sprite just hits different. Go home and go to Wawa and get a grape Sprite on your way home. Whatever it is that your spouse loves, that's celebrating. Yeah. And we want to keep it real and help you understand that it's just real life, and you can make it and be better and sustain and grow and all of that if you'll just do a lot of the little things. The big things will happen. That's right. So thanks for taking this time and listening to us. We appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And as we will always, see you next month. Give us a follow on our social media. Celebrate Your Day, Facebook, Instagram. That's right. And have a great day. Have a great day. See ya.